Hello, I want to talk today about the Bluesound NODE family of streamers. Not counting older models, that includes in good, better, best order the NODE NANO, the NODE, and the NODE Icon. Each one lets you add high-res streaming to an existing sound system, and each one has preamplifier capabilities that let you control volume and more. We'll talk about each node in turn, but at the outset here, I think it's worth saying that you get meaningful upgrades as you go up in price. They all use the same ESS Sabre 9039 Q2M DAC chips. The entry-level NODE NANO has digital and analog outputs and a USB-A input. Step up to the NODE and you get more inputs, including an HDMI eARC port that lets you get really nice TV sound. And the top-of-the-line NODE Icon has even more inputs, plus balanced XLR output, 2 of those Sabre DAC chips in dual mono configuration for better dynamic range and lower noise floor, and a full-color display. But first, let's get into why you'd choose Bluesound's BluOS for your streaming platform. For my money, I think it's a great option if you're looking to get multi-room sound, but also if you're just looking to add streaming to any sound system. Bluesound was introduced in 2013 and quickly gained footing as a popular brand for multi-room audio. Its outgrowth from NAD amplification and PSB speaker technology gives it audiophile credentials. And its range of products lets you add high-res streaming to your existing system or build one from scratch on a budget modest or extravagant as you require. The sound quality can absolutely do justice to a really nice stereo system. I just wanted to add a streaming source to my main system with a Node, but ended up adding a couple more BluOS players in other rooms and use them all the time, synced together or playing independently. And all BluOS players support true high-res 24-bit 192 kilohertz digital decoding. I would put the BluOS app in the top 3 of multi-room control apps. The app works with Android and Apple devices, including Apple Watch. Some people will definitely prefer the convenience of Apple AirPlay 2, Tidal Connect, and Spotify Connect, and sometimes I am one of those people. When you take advantage of BluOS's support for those options, you won't need the app except for setup. But I've come to prefer the way the BluOS app handles my streaming services. Plus, I have a storage drive loaded with music files attached to my NAD C700 integrated amp with BluOS built in, so when I'm choosing music to play, I can see it all in one place in the app. If I go out to lunch or something and come back and want to start the music where I left off, I just press play. I don't have to repair with the player, and if I was playing music to multiple players, that group is what plays the music when you start back up. I love the stability and the responsiveness of the app too. The music starts or stops the instant you touch the transport, not the case with AirPlay. There are also advanced audio settings in the app that let you adjust bass, treble, and more. You can set any of these nodes output to fixed if you're connecting to an integrated amp or a receiver that you'll be using to control the volume, or variable if you're connecting directly to a power amplifier and using the node to control volume. I've experimented with a few different power amps in this kind of setup, and I really like the sound and the simplified control. Another cool feature, if you've got a powered subwoofer connected, which you can do with both the Node and Node Icon, is that you can adjust the output, crossover, plus sub volume and delay to fine-tune bass right from your listening position. That makes it a lot easier to dial in seamless sound with your main speakers. Quick digression, as good as the BluOS app is, I also love the Bluesound RC1 remote, which is sold separately. It uses IR to communicate with any BluOS player. You don't even need to pair it. That's great when you need to control the music and your phone is out of reach or tied up. It's got volume and playback control plus 10 presets. Simple, practical, I love mine and use it all the time. So I class BluOS in a hypothetical, non-scientific top 3 among other multi-room streaming platforms. In terms of popularity, I would also include Sonos and Wim in that top 3, and those brands are well worth exploring. One big thing that sets Bluesound apart from those other 2 is the range of gear available. In addition to all the Bluesound stuff, you can also find BluOS in its parent brands PSB and NAD. PSB puts it in their Alpha IQ speakers, and NAD puts it in a number of components, including their MDC2 BluOS D module, which can upgrade certain NAD integrated amps to include BluOS. Those other 2 brands don't offer audiophile components like the NAD Master Series M66 stereo preamp with BluOS built in. They're great at what they do, but at this time they just don't do audiophile like BluOS does. Okay, let's take a closer look at these Node streamers and talk about which one or ones might be good for you. All 3 of them have BluOS, of course. All three support Apple AirPlay 2, Spotify Connect, Tidal Connect, and Roon. They also support Amazon Music, Qobuz, Internet Radio, and more. All three have two-way Bluetooth, which you can use to play music or podcasts or whatever from your phone or other compatible device to the player, or send that music through the player to a pair of Bluetooth headphones. And all three can connect to your home network via Wi-Fi or Ethernet. So let's start at the top with the Node icon. I mentioned the dual DACs, the balanced output, and the color screen. You also get a ton of connectivity. For inputs, you get analog stereo RCA, optical digital, HDMI eARC for your TV, plus USB-C for connecting a computer, and USB-C-A for a storage drive. A quick note about some slightly more advanced audio settings for the digital inputs. When you tap the music icon at the bottom of the app screen, you'll see all your Node's inputs across the top. If you tap Customize, you can turn on AutoSense for your most used digital input. If you turn AutoSense on for the HDMI eARC input, for example, whenever you turn on the TV, the Node will switch to that input and play sound. The icon also has RCA and balanced XLR analog outputs to your amplifier and an output for a powered subwoofer. Optical and coaxial digital outputs let you connect to an outboard DAC or an amp with a built-in DAC. For wired headphones, you get two full-size quarter-inch jacks fed by a high-performance THX AAA amplifier that sounds really good. The full-color display, not a touchscreen, shows album art and track info, and you can get simple capacitive touch, playback, and volume control on the top panel. And it's still fairly compact. Okay, let's move on to the Node. The Node has excellent sound quality and sits at a price point that makes it perfect as a digital audio nerve center or as a way to add streaming and super versatile digital connectivity to a secondary system like a den or office. It looks a lot like former versions, all of which have been very popular with our customers because of audio quality, wireless multi-room quality, and stability and price. This newest N132 model sounds better than a couple of previous versions that I have, and those still sound great. This Node's single, full-sized headphone jack is powered by the same smooth, powerful amp that's in the Node icon. It's got HDMI eARC for TV sound, USB-A for compatible storage drives, plus a combo input that can accept sources that connect with either a 3.5mm analog stereo or mini optical digital. For outputs, it's got analog stereo RCA and optical and coaxial digital options if you want to connect it to an external DAC. Like the icon, it has a mono output for a powered subwoofer. What else can I say but that this is a great model that keeps getting better? The third and final model we'll look at is the Node Nano. It's super compact and streamlined. It's got the same great DAC as you'll find in the Node. Its sole input is for a USB storage drive. If you're mostly streaming that way, and with online music services, the Nano is a solid choice. It's got analog RCA output to your amplifier, as well as optical and coaxial digital output options if you want to use a different DAC. If you're adding a room to your BluOS system, or if you just want a great sounding streaming source in an apartment or office, this is a small footprint, budget-friendly option that I feel good recommending. And I also feel good recommending BluOS in general, for their wide range, from affordable to somewhat luxurious audiophile components, also for the powerful, stable control. They've been around for over 10 years now, and their parent companies, NAD and PSB, have been around much longer. That gives me confidence that they'll keep improving and be there to help if you need it. If you need help choosing between these three Node models or have questions about Bluesound and BluOS wireless multi-room streaming, get in touch with us here at Crutchfield. Thanks for watching.